Hello, my name is Michael Aiko Smith. Of course, this is Arsenal African Network. Welcome. This is Smith's Perspective, and we are going to treat an interesting, controversial topic. Look, I have been a broadcast journalist for many years. As an Arsenal fan, over 30 years of practicing journalism, I have friends all over the world. And what we are picking up, the information we are picking up is that there are some new buyers who are underground working against Mikel Arteta's dismissal, working against the dismissal of Mikel Arteta because they've realized something, that if Mikel Arteta wins the trophy, the Cronkies will still remain. And these people are potential buyers. They want to buy Arsenal. I don't know who they are. In fact, as journalists, we hear stuff, we hear things. And I was a bit curious initially, but I have seen a trend on social media because the rumors is that they have paid some social media bloggers, YouTubers, Facebook bloggers. I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are. My guys in the UK and some guys outside of the UK are working on something. And there are some ex-Arsenal players involved. There are some ex-Arsenal players involved. Very high-profile Arsenal players involved. Names withheld for now. We are working on something. I have seen a lot of YouTubers of Arsenal would claim to be Arsenal fans. Well, consistently, please listen to me, consistently, I'm not talking about those who criticize Arsenal. No, those who suddenly call the regular Arsenal fans as cult. Because I ask myself, at my age, I've seen football supporters all over the world, from Manchester City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, Arsenal, Chelsea. I mean, fans coming together, especially with Champions League football. And I've seen fans sharing jokes and drinking together. It was fun in those days. And it's supposed to be fun. If you have observed, there are some new crop of people, maybe the last 10 years or so, new emergence of supporters who have emerged, and suddenly they have a stake, they have a say, and the say is not the say we all have as supporters and we share our views and we hope for the best. They seem so crazy. It's so crazy. They think they have some managerial role or they are entitled to something. Even their opinion must be final. You know, as football fans all over the world, when we go to the stadium, we lose a match, a football match, for instance. It's painful. We shout, we mourn, we agitate, we get angry. But as soon as the next football match involving Arsenal is up, we forget about the other match, the previous match. We forget about it completely because what are we? We are Arsenal fans. That's who we are. But I have seen some supporters, so-called supporters, who never let go the previous matches. And they call emergency meeting, they call all sorts of things they do on social media. These people are suspects. These people are suspects. Those agenda setters who don't see anything good about Mikel Arteta. And one of them said something, I think it was a slip. He said, if this guy Arteta wins something, then he will be like Wenger. And I said to myself, so if he stays for a long period, and he's doing well and giving the goods, who cares? If he stays for a long period and he's doing the job the way we want him to do, what is wrong with it? So when this rumor started a few weeks ago, and I got a call from somewhere, and a person called another person and another person, and my links, and with checks and balances, and I'm looking at it and I ask myself, oh, okay, there's the deal. So it's not for nothing. These are not supporters who are just worried for the Arsenal Football Club, or they mean well, or they have this special interest of making sure we win something. Because I think their criticism went overboard for me. And I like I said, I've seen fan base getting angry, shout, and the next day they are fine. These people know consistently they have an agenda. Consistently they talk about the same thing. They have even given Mikel Arteta a nickname that suggests that he is the best manager, quote unquote, and he will forever remain the best manager. That was proud before the comment by our legend Thierry Henry. I am not alleging that he's part of anything. I don't know. I don't have that fact. Let me clear the air. But I have been told there are some ex-football players who are involved. You see, I think a lot of people think so low of Arteta. They think because Mikel Arteta being so young and inexperienced at the time, I'm not talking about now, now he's experienced, almost 6 years into the coaching job, he has it, he's seen it all. He has played the best managers. Yes, he has played the best manager. He has even beaten the current UEFA Champions League manager, Enrique. He's beaten him during the elimination series of the Champions League. Yes, you can say, well, they didn't have the full complement of their team. It doesn't matter. Arteta has beaten him fair and square with some great margin. He has beaten Ancelotti home and away. He has beaten Pep Guardiola, his former boss. He has beaten almost all the top managers. But I can only mention those that he has. So Arteta is not a novice anymore. But I'm just talking about before he was given this job. He had never managed any team before. So most of the legendary ex-players and who are into, you remember at the time, there were a few of them trying to manage. I'm talking about the invisible legends, some of the ex-players. They were like, Arteta who? Why Mikel? Inexperienced, but they saw something. As soon as Arteta came, he did some unpopular stuff, which eventually became popular or made sense. The Aubameyang situation, the Ozil situation, he made sure those players either were grounded, they were even, when they were not even, when they had not left the team at the time, I saw them being sidelined, and we were wondering, why is Ozil? That time they were still at the club, including Aubameyang. Only Lacazette was the senior player, and our naughty player who became a very fantastic player before he left, I think at least the last season, Xhaka, was one among the few that Arteta retained. And look at what he did with Xhaka. Xhaka was a notorious guy, but we all saw what he did the last season before he left. And even some of us were saying, oh, why don't you stay on? Why don't you stay on? So these ex-players and some people from the Arsenal quarters that it's like Arteta does not deserve it. Where is this guy coming from? He's an Everton player. He came in some few years. He became a captain of Arsenal. Why him? But one thing they forget is that being a legend footballer is different from being a manager. Let me tell you guys something. People have forgotten so soon that Arteta started his managerial trade together with 2 or 3 top legend players, even his age, contemporary. I'm talking about Frank Lampard and Steven Gerrard. You remember when Arteta was appointed? Shortly after, we saw Lampard at Chelsea and we saw Steven Gerrard at Aston Villa. So we all thought that, okay, these young people, even though Arteta, I'm told, is much younger. I don't know, but I don't know who's younger and who's old. But they all the same era. These two fell off the cliff. They were fired by their various clubs, and Arteta remained because they started very well. I saw Lampard doing so well initially. I think the first month it was okay. Gerrard went ahead, won some matches, but later on it sets in. But Arteta remained because if you remember, Arteta's second year was fantastic. The first year he won the trophy. The second year was fantastic. The third year, amazing. The kind of football the guys were playing, Arteta's philosophy, and so on and so forth. That changed the whole game for the Arsenal fans. You remember the initial stage, like the 8-8, the first two seasons, we were skeptical about Mikel Arteta, and some were like Arteta out, Arteta out. That changed when Arteta started challenging the third year and the fourth year. You understand? And I keep telling people, Mikel Arteta was not asked to win anything his first 2 years. I'm telling you this. And you see, I keep saying it, but people think, oh, I'm making it up. No. The mess at the club was so huge that the Cronkies and the board knew Arteta can't do anything, can't do magic. He has to get rid of the dead wood, get rid of players. It was even difficult to sell some of the players. Even as they keep reducing the amount for teams to buy them, still it was difficult for them to because people didn't, it was not like players who were doing very well, but of course are older players. If for instance somebody offers you a player like Rashford, you will pay his wages. You want his services, even though he's a free agent. You want his services because he's doing so well. The Arsenal players like Ozil and the rest were not doing anything. Aubameyang himself, being the captain, was indisciplined. So you can imagine the others. That's the report. And whether he had some physical thing, he touched or slapped Arteta, this is all flying here and there. We don't know. It's all rumors because Arteta himself decided not to say anything. And if indeed it was true that Aubameyang slapped him and Arteta decided to keep mute about it, never said anything, it tells you his mindset and the love for the club. You can imagine how messy it would be at the time. It will be, and it will even destroy Aubameyang's career. And it tells you how mature he was, even at that time, as young as he came in and inexperienced as he was. So fast forward, all these had gone on, buying players, trying to sell them. The old wood, getting rid of them was even difficult. I'm telling you, even teams didn't even want some of the players within their camp. Even if you dash them those players, they will say no. Even if you dash players, some of the old Arsenal players, to teams in the Premiership, even in the Championship, they will say no. It's not because they are not good players or they cannot perform. It's the indiscipline. It's the attitude of training. It's their inability to pull their weight, because some of them were better than what we saw. Some of them were better. Yes, some were aging, but a player like Ozil, at a point, he would not even tackle. Anyway, let's forget about that. I'm just trying to recap some of the things that we've forgotten, the job that Arteta did. So Arteta was never taxed to win anything in the first 2 years. So when people say it's been 5 years, it's been unfair to him, because you can judge him from the last 3 years. You can judge him from the last 3 years when he got his own team. And since he got his own team, Arteta has been second. Yes, it may not be good enough. We've not crossed the line. But you see, everybody is saying, all the pundits, the professional pundits, I'm not talking about Arsenal YouTube fan agenda setters. No, I'm talking about the professional EPL pundits, the professional pundits on Sky Sports and all that. You hear them say, Arsenal is a striker away from winning the Premiership. Can you imagine? If a manager has done so well and it will take a prolific striker for him to win the Premiership, why do you want to get rid of him? I am saying pundits, international pundits, not only in the Premier League, but outside, those who were talking even after we lost the PSG match. I heard and saw professional pundits saying Arsenal is just what? A prolific striker away. Because Arsenal can create the way we play our football. We create so much chances, but there was nobody to do it. Look at Mourinho. He's not the typical striker, but he was able to do something. Because there are chances. The chances will come. Why do you think some Arsenal fans, some of them, they are not that naive. I've seen some who have gray hair like I do. They've been around for a long time. They know football. They've watched football. Some of them have been around since the Invisible. And they are still around. Saying Arteta should be sacked. That can't be ordinary. That fits in the agenda and what I'm hearing, that people are offered money to get rid of Arteta because Arteta will succeed and the Cronkies. So Arteta is not the target. The Arteta is not the final target. Arteta is a means to an end. They want the Cronkies out. And the Cronkies have done so well. They are supporting. They've supported Arteta to this level. Maybe Arteta's stubbornness. We can talk about his stubbornness. Some of the things he doesn't get right and his substitutions and late substitutions. I have said it, that he has to check those things. But you see, don't forget, even Pep, even the Ancelottis, they get it wrong sometimes. So he will not be a perfect manager. So those things can be tweaked and we will get it right. That's fair. Now, that aside, Arteta is a fantastic manager. So if somebody like Ian Wright will tell you that Arsenal is a striker away from winning the trophy, I've seen Wayne Rooney saying that. I've heard Ryan Giggs saying that. I've heard those who are very fair, even Carragher, who's a bit critical of Arteta, has even said that. And a lot of pundits, ex-players from other clubs have said that Arsenal need a striker. So if you are an Arsenal pundit and you hear professionals saying that Arsenal is a striker away and will win the league and win trophies, and you want the manager who has brought us this far, the manager who orchestrated us being a striker away from winning the league, you want him out, there is a question mark of whatever you are doing in the name of Arteta out, Arteta this, Arteta that. Some of you sleep and wake up Arteta, as if Arteta is some ghost or something. I don't know. I have picked up this information that those who be wary, I'm telling the Arsenal fans, especially the young ones, don't listen to that toxic YouTubers. When they sit down, even as the season is over, some of them are still hitting on Arteta. Even some have even said that we are not going to win anything. Oh yes, they have already seen. They are soothsayers, they are prophets who have gone ahead of us. Don't think it's just because they love the club. They don't. Some of them have received monies, allegedly received monies, And it's going to catch up with them because some investigations are going on. I want to tell Arsenal fans to be resolute. I want you to remain resolute. Be fun. Be as we have been when we were young. Football is a game. It's not about so much of do and die like how others are beginning to. They get frustrated. They get as if they are board directors and they don't own the club. We all don't. We suggest, we love the, well, we say, oh, I want this player, I want that player. That's fine. It's all about suggestion. None of us have a say except Arteta, Andre Berta, who has just come in, the Cronkies, the board, and whoever is involved. None of us, including those haters, can decide for the club. There are some who are even dying. I don't think I like this player. Why this player? Football is not a do and die thing. The way you guys are doing it now, it can only be an agenda. It can only be an influence. Aside that, if you are a real supporter, like some of us are, we let go the past and see our team flourish. Thank you once again. To the haters, shut up and sit down. I'm out.